Well, good morning from a beautiful sunny day now after I think we had about 18 hours of constant pouring rain, so this is actually quite a reprieve. As we said, we're going to talk about our garden plans as they stand right now, and that will be extended further out when we have more time and, quite frankly, more manpower and more money. So let's have a quick look. Well, not so quick. One thing we have decided long ago is that we need a border here, stone, to separate the grass from the flower beds, because as you can see there's just an onslaught of weeds, and of course there are weeds in here, and we have cleaned this out I don't know how many times, so it's a losing battle. When flower beds have not been particularly cared about for decades, it's difficult to get them back into shape. But we're definitely going to do that. So we have planted the 4 peonies. We have more peonies, which is great. What particular plants we are putting in between, we don't know yet. That's really to be determined. Now, between, and this is, the chateau is built symmetrically. So between both of these dining room and grand salon shutters, we're going to put something that's evergreen, that is a pencil. So it's there are pencil boxwoods and pencil evergreen pines or pine varieties. Something like this will go in here, so it gives more of an interest with the dark green evergreen, and then with the symmetry, which we are definitely going to look for. Definitely a lot of bulbs going in, so that we have in the spring our spring flowers, because we use mostly the back entrance from the park or the garden side. So always nice to come home to a lot of flowers. So this rose is really old. And we were actually told that it's called, that it looks like the Lalande rose, which no longer is, Stephanie no longer has at the Chateau de Lalande. It's possible, we'll find out eventually. Next to it we might plant another rose, because a climber that blooms multiple times. And we have a space next to the chapel between 2 rooms. Those are 2 further salons where you can see the hooks. We will take quite a few of them out and fix the facade, and under that space, or between that space, we might also plant another rose. They grow phenomenally here, and they're just lovely. Now, if you hear popping noises in the background, it's a hunting day around the chateau, so it's always a bit annoying having that popping sound all the time, but it's what's done here in our region. So now let's talk about this. It's a vast area, and in the old photos that we found, this was all gravel, compacted gravel, ground up limestone, which is from this region. So all of this is going to be one big patio and path to, it's easier walking to the chapel. And so the first 2 windows that are behind me here is our grand salon, and in front of the grand salon we will have a whole seating area with garden furniture, and on the other side is the dining room, which is also close to the kitchen. That is going to be our outdoor dining area. So al fresco is going to be all the way over there. So there are 2 distinct areas, and that will really help us to entertain larger groups and have also more events here. So, as you might remember, we planted this already, this part here. Hydrangeas, and more hydrangeas, but all different varieties. Oak leaf, regular, Annabelle, which is in this case is pink, so it's then called bubblegum. It's a funny name, so I love it. But further down, we are planning on having a couple of rhododendron, because they love shade, and they should like the soil here pretty well. And some other shade-loving plants like holly, and it's going to look very nice. And it's a bit more loose, not a strict symmetrical planting, which we do in front of the chateau. But here it's going to be more organic and free, not overgrown though. So we have 3 robinia trees here. They are dying. They basically have hardly any leaves left, and they have split trunks. There were at some point wood-eating insects in the trunk, so they're also not quite safe. These 3 will go, so the firewood for the future, but they definitely have to be taken out of here for our vision to be sustainable. And there is a plan to put some other trees along here that are more of an espalier, but that is really in the way future, nothing anytime soon. But so these need to go, not in the coming year, definitely not, unless we get a windfall or something, or some very motivated volunteers. Now, this is not a pedestal. This is a tree trunk. This is a robinia trunk. Robinia is incredibly hard wood. We have 2 of them that we need to grind down or drill holes in it and slowly let them rot. So robinia doesn't really rot, so we would have to actually add little fires on top of it on a more regular basis, so they will deteriorate that way. And it's so interesting that when you have something like tree trunks or stumps in the soil, over the years they're coming more and more up. So even if you cut them really short to the ground, over time, which we have over there, the second one, you have these bumps and you cannot mow over them. So they need to go. Nothing I'm looking forward to, but we will get it done. Now here we have the fountain. Okay, we are not decided yet what we are going to do, if we are going to build a shallow basin so that water will be pumped in here through a pine cone or whatever. No Patio or fat angel, not happening. But so a nice pine cone, or that, and then it cascades down into the water. My hesitation on doing that is this. Stuart hasn't even seen this. We have a lot of trees here, and so that is just additional work. I don't know if we want to do this, but it surely would look really nice. So, and I'm saying this because this is already centered to the back door. It will not stay here. We have 2 areas that we are going to build out. One will be the statue of the bust of Marie Antoinette. One will be a nice calm area with a nice bench in it. So creating garden rooms, basically. So different areas for different purposes or different moods. But what we have to decide is where this actually goes. Oh yes, I remember what we have discussed. So in order to determine where this should go, we're going to take the entire length of the chateau and do a cross to the 2 big lime trees or linden trees, and where that cross meets on this axle, that's where this will go. So my guess is, let's see, this is just my guesstimate. So, but having a nice water feature here would be nice because it would also mirror the front. And we bought this, when was that, Stuart? 2 years ago?
Yes, yeah, 2 years.
So at an auction, and I'm really glad we have it. So it's going to look very nice.
It's also quite nice because if you compare it to the bowls in the front fountain, it's basically the same design as the front fountain bowls.
Yes.
So, yeah.
The difference was that it was way cheaper.
Yes, it's true.
This is one of those lucky auction wins where we put a bid in and then we never go back, and then we get an email saying, congratulations, you won this item. So here we go with this going to be the focal point for the back. But if you remember, we also have these amazing planters in the front. In the longer run, we will have them along the path from here to the chateau. Now let's talk about the path itself. So now coming to the big discussion that Stuart and I are having, how deep should this be? I mean, it could be too big, so then it looks like, I don't know, an abandoned tennis court. Or is it to about here, which is actually quite large, and we could put 2 complete tables, or 4 with the path in between. 4 tables here that would seat, if need be, about 100 people. So that wouldn't be bad. That would kind of mean weddings, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Events.
events.
Yeah.
But we were thinking about putting in a very, very low retaining wall, which is really kind of keeping out wall because it keeps out the grass from growing in. That is an idea, but it could also be just a stone border. Now there's then the next thing that we want to do is have the 2 patios or terrace areas divided by a brick path coming around here and going all the way to the fountain. And as I said, there will be 2 separate garden rooms, and then having them go all the way to either of those 2, so you can, when it's wet, people can in the morning, but it's a beautiful day, you can still get there without having soaking wet shoes. And it's as you can see in Versailles, or Vaux le Vicomte, what the garden designer Le Notre has done, it also gives the garden structure. So that is an idea, and that we will talk about more next year, but I think that would look really, really nice. And these are going to be custom made bricks. So let's see about that. So I'm sorry, I don't want to rub it in, but this is mid-November. And is this not fantastic? I mean, it's beautiful scent, absolutely remarkable. And that's why we moved here. It's lovely. And we just got a lovely comment from a lady in the Midwest who was talking about that it's amazing how green it still is. She's basically finishing up her preparations for winter, and we're not even beginning really, and that's really quite lovely. So sorry for rubbing it in. I go now. So where the water feature will be, maybe somewhere here, right? In the back here, I don't know, 40, 50 feet further, it's where, this was always called the park. Not quite comprehensible right now because a lot of the trees had to have been, well, they were cut down because they were no longer viable. So this was full of trees, but now it's a bit sparse and we will replant some of it. So this will be the path, and we will have the big planters left and right from it. And in about 30, 40 feet further down, we are looking for an old gate. So we're going to install the gate, which has no purpose but being decorative.
Right.
So, but that's going to be, we think, quite nice. And it separates the park from the rest of the property, which, who knows, maybe we do get donkeys next year so they can graze there, and we can put a fence in so they don't eat everything here. Which is, of course, an option. A lot of people have suggested goats. We love goats. So there's a big goat fan. However, they really eat everything, and they are masters in escaping. Sheep also lovely. quite frankly, we don't want the responsibility at this point. We might revisit that at a later date. Cows, no, thank you. Too much work. So over in the farmyard, chickens, maybe some geese, absolutely, that would be lovely. If we get donkeys, they'll be kept in the back, and we have plenty of room for them to meander and graze, so that's going to be fantastic. And scream, of course, because they're loud. But the one thing that they don't do, that peacocks do, is poop on cars. So that is a huge advantage. That's why we have decided not to have peacocks at the chateau. Hi, Aiden. Hi, sweetie. Yes. So these are the planters we were talking about. We have 8 of them. They come from the Chateau de Colombe. We bought them off our friends Jojo and Gary because they didn't need them, and they were somewhere in the woods. These are ginormous and they're incredibly heavy. So these, because we are going to work on the front courtyard even throughout the winter. Hi, Guinness. So that is, these need to go. So we are temporarily placing them in the back, pretty much where our patio or the terrace will end. So that's going to give a good visual, and once that is done, we are going to, I'm laughing because Guinness is just jumping up on Stuart. We're going to show you how that looks, so you can get maybe a better idea of how large that's going to be. But yeah, these are fantastic, but how fantastic will they look in the back as a alley towards the water feature?
Yeah, definitely a nice feature in the back.
Hi, Luna. Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to get this done. So for next year, this will no longer be this. And I'm not even going to say anymore. It was always an uphill battle. But
And we have had the plan of what we were going to do here for quite a while.
well, basically, before we bought the chateau, we already
Yeah.
said this would be something we wanted to do, and it's going to be something you have seen in Versailles or in Vaux-le-Vicomte. It's going to be a true parterre, so it's 4 beds around a focal point, like the garden designer Le Notre did. And hello, that's what we plan to do here from the get-go, and we have enough space here for 2 cars to stand next to each other when people arrive at the chateau or leaving it. So that's all I have to say about the pots. Planting a garden is great, and this is not a garden, it's a park. I can't even, looking down there, it's a bit daunting. But the fun thing is we are invited by our mayor with a whole delegation of our town here to visit our, basically our representative in Paris. And we're going to do this. It's a little daunting because, I mean, it's of course all in French, and as it should be, we're in France. But that's really, really cool. That's coming up, and I hope you're going to like that. But, well, I hope you're going to like it. We are going to like it too. But we are really grateful for you to be interested in what we're doing in the park. And there will be, of course, more planning coming and more detailed plans illustrated, because right now this is a bit more in our heads and it's not as easy for you to understand maybe. But thanks for watching it, and we see you Friday.
If you enjoyed this video, please use the like feature to let us know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Journey to the Chateau YouTube channel if you would like to see more. Once you've subscribed, you can tap the notification bell in order to ring it, which will allow you to receive all notifications from our channel. Thank you.